Welcome to an enlightening exploration of faith and love with your host, Gail. In this series, we'll journey together through the powerful message embedded in To the Point 101, Let's Talk About It, and He First Loved Us. Each of these works invite us to reflect on our spiritual journeys, encouraging a deep and meaningful dialogue about our relationship with Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Hello, everyone. Just 1 second. I'm just noticing something that I did not notice before. And let me try to connect Instagram back. So just bear with me for 1 second here because I'm just realizing that okay, we're just going to go with it. Okay. Just 1 second here. Now, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Depending on where you are watching from, it is Gail here. And as promised, I am going to go into our daily reading. And this here reading is, no, it's not a daily reading because I need to catch up on God's promises for our children. We need to continue. We cannot sit our little ones aside because the Holy Spirit have not taken this off, this reading, this awareness that we must bring to our children and helping them navigate through these ups and downs in this thing called life. And so we must continue to bring awareness. We must continue to speak about what is going on and how we as a village, can come together and help our children, praying for them, just being that support system, being a support system for one another as well. Because a lot of times, some of us just assume, well, that's not my child, so why should I help? But that child is part of your community, and so you should help. That could be your neighbor, like always lend a helping hand. 9 times out of 10, one is needed, so why not offer it? And as I said before, we need to bring that village back. Back in the day, we had a village. We really did. And you watched out for each other's child. Something go on, you know about it. And we need to bring that back. It's not here. It's not in this world. It's not, where your neighbor's child can be, that can be your child. That can be the next president. That can be a doctor. Like, we just look at these children and we're just so quick to just write them off because of the mistakes that they made. But, whatever happened to support? And if you see a parent that's going through something, be that voice. Be the one to say, you know what? I'm going to help this parent out. I'm going to help this child. Look at, and even if you're going through something with the parents, and that's something that we need to also get away from. And we project so much negativity as adults to these children, knowing that they will soon become adults themselves. How do you really think they are going to handle themselves? And I think the situation and I'm just speaking my thoughts. It's worse when there's a breakup in that family dynamic. When there is a breakup there, divorces happen, you know, even if you're not married, relationships happen, you know, um, suddenly there's a separation, there's a change, a child does not know how to navigate, a child is not being heard, a child is being used against the other parent, then we wonder why they are in these streets acting a fool and that they live their lives so aggressively. As I said before, sometimes you can watch a child and know exactly what is going on in that home. Young, old, it doesn't matter. Watch the child, and that's going to tell you everything that is going on in that household. If it's a loving household, you will see a difference. If it's an angry household where everybody's just cussing and fighting and sleeping around and you know um, doing drugs, when you look at that child, you will be able to tell. And that's not even to take something away from even a child. I want to say in a home, and you just think, oh, look at that big old house, look at that white picket fence, look at those fancy cars. Behind those closed doors is an emotionally wrecked child. Why? Because they had everything thrown at them, everything but love, everything but time. Some of those children that you just look at, oh, that child is wealthy and the parent have this and that, and those are the most miserable children. And what I want to say is that the last couple of uh, episodes that happened in these schoolhouses came from divorced children. We're not going to even bring the race into it because it shouldn't even matter at this point, but divorced children. So that tells you how much they are suffering. That tells us how we need to put our children first and stop all of this bickering about it's your fault. No, you need to do this. Oh, you didn't do it. And God, stop pointing fingers. Because in the end, our children, they are the ones that's taking up room in these jail cells. Because why? They are angry. They are angry. They are angry individuals because we are so busy as parents. Oh, you did this and it's about me, it's about me, it's about me. And never once did we take our child or children into consideration the effect that breaking up their family is having on them. So we will continue on in our book, 1,000 Positive Ways to Discipline Your Child. And what I like most about this book is that, it's giving you positive discipline, ways to discipline your child, but it also speaks to you. It also speaks to you, the parent. And I think that's very important. I think that's very necessary that we recognize our faults as parents. Because, I've said this before, and I truly believe it, and I stand by it 100%. If you believe that you are a parent, and then there's no way that you can bully your child, then you're sadly mistaken. As I said before, bullying, a child is not born to bully, but bullying is happening at home. And 9 times out of 10, is we, the parent, that starts that cycle of bullying because we just don't look at ourselves as bullies. And really, when it's all said and done, you can be a bully. Where else would a child learn how to, you know, insert their ways aggressively? Oh, I don't like the way you look, so now I want to fight you. You know, again, if you truly, truly believe that you, as a parent, cannot bully your child, you're sadly mistaken. So let's get into this, okay? Let me just give myself a little right here. And I thank everyone that is here. And before I forget, do not forget to like and share, okay? Somewhere out there, there's a child going through it, and somewhere out there, there is a parent that needs this information because when it's all said and done, sometimes we just assume that we do it all. Sometimes we're going through such an emotional time that we don't even realize how bad that we are damaging our children. We don't realize it. And sometimes as family members and friends and co-workers, you see it, and instead of offering an ear, a helping hand, what do? We go behind that person's back and we gossip about them. We do. That's what we do. And basically, we're sitting there trying to plan their downfall. Oh, I told her, oh, yeah, we all got the oh, yes, and I told you so's, and oh, that's what she get until it's your turn. Not that we would wish anything like that on someone, but when it's all said and done, everyone gets a turn. Everyone gets a turn. And if you can avoid it, avoid it. But how do you avoid it? You avoid it by really helping others because when it's all said and done, we never know. We never know when it will be our turn to go through something. And not that we want to go through it, but have some sympathy and empathy for someone else that's going through it. And that is all. And let me just tell you something also. It is a requirement. Really, it is a requirement. It is scripture. It is something that God requires us to do, looking out for one another, being there for one another, supporting one another, just helping that child navigate and knowing that there is love that surrounds that child. And you don't have to go out in the street and try to create another family because yours is all torn apart. And a lot of times that's what it comes down to. That is what it comes down to. So let's get started. And as you see the title, the impact of divorce on children, what every parent should know. And we will get through this together. We will get through this. I am telling you, where there's a will, there's a way. And we must believe in that. Where there is a will, there is a way. And I want to say, and we must also remember that praying goes a long way. Praying goes a long way. If you teach your child how to pray and your child see you on your knees praying to make a way, that child will learn. That child will learn the way of the Lord and follow and submit themselves also to the Holy Spirit instead of submitting themselves to the streets and to all the negativity that surrounds them. You must believe that. You must believe that. So let's begin here. Divorce, divorce, divorce. And again, this is in positive discipline. So I want to get a divorce, but I'm so afraid it will hurt my children. Should I stay in my marriage for the sake of the children? So understanding your child, yourself, and the situation. Many circumstances in life can be hurtful for children, including divorce. There is evidence, however, that a bad marriage is actually more difficult and hurtful for children than divorce. There are many things parents can do to reduce the pain of divorced children. So here are some suggestions given, okay? Encourage children to express their feelings and show understanding. Verbalize that you understand that the change is painful for all of you and express confidence that you will be able to handle it effectively with time. Do not fight over the children. This is a biggie. This is a biggie. This is a big one here. Do not fight over children. And I forgot to put the WhatsApp. Let me just put that WhatsApp number in real quick, okay? For the ones that would like to call in. I forgot about that. There is the WhatsApp number. Okay, and then I am going to put in the link if you care to join the live, okay? And for the ones that would like to join the live but not um, have your face shown, once you follow that link, hit the stop camera button and then you will not be shown on. Okay, so now that I got that out of the way, now we will continue on. I'm just going to pull up some notes. Anybody's been following me for a while knows I love to take notes because all of these readings are so important to me. So, now, do not fight over the children. Share time as equally as possible. Children want to love and respect both parents. It is easier for your child to love four parents if you remarry than it is for them to have to choose between two natural parents. And I'm not promoting that as soon as you divorce out there and be in another relationship. We're just reading the book as we go along, okay? So um, just putting it out there. Now, so this is what my notes have on um, fighting over your children, the effects. Stress and anxiety in custody disputes can lead to mental health issues such as depression and anxiety for both parents when you're fighting over your children. Financial strain. Legal battles over children can be costly and drain financial resources, impacting both parents and children, their quality of life. Um, Conflict can lead to further breakdown in communication and relationship between parents, complicating further co-parenting. That's the effect that it has on a parent. Now let's take, take a look at the effects it can have on the children, okay? So a child. Children may experience a feeling of anxiety, depression, and insecurity. They might feel torn between parents and may develop loyalty complex. Remember, and when I got to that part, I just thought this is very important that needs to be said because a lot of times during that divorce, you have some parents that want to manipulate their child. Oh, so you don't like me? Oh, oh, so you don't want to be here because you're me. We need to move away from that. We need to move away from that because, again, you are concerned about your own emotions and not the emotions of your child. Now, behavioral issues on top of that, that should have been number one. The stress of witnessing parent conflict can lead to behavioral problems such as aggression or withdrawal and could affect their performance in school. Could be affect their performance anywhere. Not only say just school. But a teacher will notice, a teacher will notice. And like I said, at that moment, if two people are in a relationship, two people are in a marriage, and it's not working, and you decide that you need to separate, does not mean the child should catch it. And suddenly the child just becomes a pair of dice that's just being shaken up and rolled out there and left all alone to figure it out because, at that point we're so into our own feelings. And we just figure, oh, that all their children they can adapt. All their children, as long as I'm feeding and putting a roof over your head, you don't have a voice. Yeah, good luck with that. Good luck with that. Um, in their interpersonal relationships, children might struggle with trust and former relationships due to the instability of their family dynamics. They may also replicate unhealthy conflict patterns in their own relationships. And that is where we hand down that generational curse. That is where we hand down that generational curse. And they start to learn and remember all the aggression that they see between the parents and start to believe that that type of behavior is the correct way. And it's not. It is not at all. So, again, think about your children. And I'm not going to say less about yourselves, but at some point, put your child first. Put your child first. Because if you don't, the streets will. And that's just getting to the point, okay? If you don't, the streets will. Now, um, do not say degrading things about one another in front of the children. You will probably experience a lot of hurt yourself. It may be tempting to seek revenge on the children. Be aware of how much this hurts your children and avoid the temptation. So many times, your father was no good. Oh, he really never took care of you. Oh, I had to do a blood test to find out that you was mine. And, you hear your mother just talking. Oh, we need to get away from that. We truly, truly need to get away from that. Why? Because it has an impact on your children. Now, let's discuss the impact. Children may feel confused, anxious, and sad when they witness their parents arguing or degrading each other. This can lead to a long lasting emotional issue like depression and low self esteem. And let me say what else it can lead to. You speaking bad about that parent, that child, when you hear it enough, you start to believe it. And the next thing you know, that child is so disrespectful to the other parent, to the other parent. Now you have created chaos in that household. So the household that was once so loving, hello, Alicia. Alicia said, I was going through the divorce process when I found a great spiritual man online. I never thought me and my husband will ever come back together. We are blessed with 3 children and married for 12 years. But he was willing to all throw that away just because he met a new woman. But help me perform a powerful rite that made him forget about the woman he just met, and the divorce was canceled. We are now living at peace in our home with a stronger bond. And who's that Dr. Asuri? Love still gone. You know what? When it's all said and done, when you are in a marriage for better, for worse, sickness and health, when you start to, I want to say, pull away, sometimes we have to sit down and then take a look at where we changed, because the change came from one or the other. Now, was I lacking? Was it, and regardless of what was happening, that communication needs to stay open, because if I'm falling off on something, then I would expect my husband to come to me and say, hey, we need to have a discussion. But sometimes we get so caught up in our feelings, and then we're seeking revenge. Or if he cheated, so now I'm a cheat. Oh, if every word that you say, if you lie constantly, it is hard to believe a liar. It is hard to believe a liar. But if we pray on it, as I said earlier in my opening, if if we know how to pray, if we know how to take whatever it is that we are going through and give it to the Lord, like that battle is not for us. But if we, I want to say, go off of emotions instead of waiting for an answer from God, waiting on Him, and we go off our own accord, then we tend to do it the wrong way, because we're doing it while we are emotionally charged. When you tend to start involving other people outside of the two people that said I do, or the two people that said we are in this relationship, and you start involving outsiders, number one, you're going to always run into somebody that never wanted you to be married in the first place. You are going to run into someone that suddenly no one ever said anything, but the minute you talk about breaking up, I saw her over here with this one, and I saw him over here with that one, and he was spending X amount. Now all the I see, I saw, and oh yeah, stories come out. And this is the reason why. If two people who's in a marriage, two people need to resolve their marriage, unless you need to, come up with a solution. And the solution should always be, what can I do to um, really take us back to the times when we were happy? What can I do to regain your trust? But, there are times also that two people fall out of love. Two people will fall out of love. Now, whether you got married because, I became pregnant and I got married, or, I got married because everybody else is doing it. If we're not marrying for the right reasons, we will divorce for the right reasons, because we never got to know each other. We never got to know each other. And that is the worst part there. But this is what I truly believe. A lot of times you cannot force a person to be in a marriage. You cannot force, because if that person, like Steve, I don't want to mispronounce your name, Alcidi, said her husband was willing to work on their marriage. Her husband was willing to put that work in. Like, okay, this is somebody new, and what we fail to realize is that we meet people, right? And so we looking like, oh, she look good, and she's saying what I want to hear, and it all sounds good. What we fail to realize is, so did the wife you was with. She was looking good, and she said all the things that you wanted to hear also. But now, you're looking really as lusting a sin, to lust, and you think that the grass is greener on the other side, but then during that relationship, you realize, oh, this person is civil. Oh, you look at this man like, oh no, you Ike Turner. Not only did you lie, but you went upside my head and called it love. See, sometimes we have to remember that the grass ain't always greener on the other side. The grass is not always greener on the other side the way we try to make it seem. Like, oh yeah, if you don't do what I say, I can go, over here, or your children hear you. You cheated on me. Oh, this one says she's pregnant. Oh, this is not my baby. Our children hear this. And what do you think is going through that child's head? How do you think that child is going to look at his father, hearing you yell how no good he is, and how, he has another baby here or there, or babies everywhere? How do you think that child feels? But see, we so busy in our own feelings, one, oh, me, that we forget that we are married, and it's about two people that created other little people, but we are sitting here talking about me and I. And I've done this already. We'll find it on Facebook because Facebook starts to um, delete the videos, but you can find the relationship. Oh, I've done this already on YouTube. You can find the videos on YouTube. And I'll say this again before I go on to reading. Sometimes, instead of pointing the finger at someone else, look at yourself and say, what did I do? What role did I play in this relationship ending, going astray, or whatever you want to call it? Because a lot of times, and I have said it before and I'll say it again, we run our mate out of the door. You think that a woman can't run her husband out their door? You think that a husband can't run his wife out that door? Because we take each other for granted. And that's what we do. We take each other for granted. You assume because you wanted me to be the housewife, and so now I'm home. And in the beginning, me being home with the children was fine. Now all of a sudden, you have a problem with it, and now you want to talk down to me, and you expect me to keep my mouth shut. This is the reason why I say sometimes we have to look at ourselves and say, where did you, let that person figure themselves out? You figure yourself out. Because when it's all said and done, what we don't realize is that, well, we're going back and forth, name calling and body shaming and doing all of this. There's a child watching it all. And we make this behavior seem quite normal to the child. That is part of a generational curse that we need to break. Let conversation, let that conversation be behind closed doors. Try not to raise your voice because there's someone that's going to be affected. There's someone that's going to say, you cheated on my mom, and now, I have a problem with you. When a child should never have to rock, paper, scissors to see which parent the loyalty is going to be with. So, um, encourage your children to love and respect each of you. Let them know they are not being disloyal to you by loving the other parent too. We need to stop playing mind games with our children. You're doing what you're doing and saying what you're saying because you're trying to hurt me, not realizing in the long run you're hurting your child. There's where you got it wrong at. That's that child that's going through so much pain that they will go outside of their door and really mentally and physically harm someone else. That is why when you see your child, that behavior that is changing, Don't ignore it. Get that child some help. Get yourself some help. Now, loyalty conflicts. When parents speak poorly of each other, children feel torn between their parents, leading to feelings of guilt and responsibility. They may feel pressure to choose sides, which can damage their relationship with both parents. It can also um, cause behavior problems. Exposure to negative interactions can lead to behavior issues in children, such as, again, aggression, withdrawal, or difficulties in school. They may model this type of negative communication in their own relationships. And that's something that I keep saying is a generational curse. Oh, I have to stand up because my mother stood up to my father and she would cuss him out. And, like, who wants to be in that type of relationship? But if this is all you know, this is what you will do. And now you're in a damaged relationship because you brought that mess into a relationship that should have been from ground up. You came in with baggage. And that's something that we don't realize. And those are the questions that we're not asking. We're not looking for. All we want to know is that I love you. You know what I mean? Let's open up our legs, and opening up my legs is what I'm going off of. I'm not going off of your character. People just want to go and visit. And I'm old school. People, it just seems like the younger generation, they go, oh, let me meet your mother. And, oh, you're just doing backflips trying to, please the mother or get the mother to like you. But you're not sitting there. Me, I'm coming in there and I'm going to your family functions and I'm watching how everybody's getting along with one another because that's really going to tell me about you. And you should be doing the same with me. Because let me tell you what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to look at the madness and then walk into madness and wonder, oh, what's going on? No, I've seen it all from the beginning. You guys are out here fighting and drinking and cussing each other out. And no, 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 no. That means I need to keep an eye on you. You can get called a judgment, but honey, I call it getting to know a person. I want to know all of you. And I need to know who's messy and who is not. So either I'm going to choose to proceed with this relationship or I'm just going to make my foot to the top and run the other way. Some people would say, well, just because that person is like that don't mean that if the family is like that, that person is not like that. No, that person is part of the family. And so far you have kept it hidden from me. And so those be the relationships that, 2 months into the relationship, all of a sudden you got a black eye. But, oh, no, 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 no. I didn't mean to do it. I didn't mean to do it. I didn't. No, 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 no. Let me tell you something, whether it's him or whether it's you, your hands don't belong on somebody. Your hands just don't belong on someone else. And that's just the bottom line. Just 1 second. That is something that we must remember. So, but back to our children. Every now and then, we're going to go teeter back and forth, okay? Development of trust issues. Children learn how to communicate and resolve conflicts by observing their parents. Once again, watch your child, what they see and what they hear is who they become as well. Frequent degrading can teach children that conflict is resolved through insult and negative behavior. That's a gem right there. That can teach your child that conflict is resolved through insult and negative behavior, which can undermine their ability to form healthy relationships in the future. Which, let me add in there, at that moment, your child becomes a bully. Because if you have one parent that's weak, because not everyone is out there to want to fight and do all this damage to the other. And so now you become the bully. And this is why I say bullying is taught at home. You become a bully. And when your child go outside and you get that call from school that your child is somewhere bullying someone, we all want to act like we're shocked. Where did they get that from? You say before hate and bullying and being super aggressive, that's learned behavior. That is learned behavior. Now, internalizing negative messages. Hearing one parent speak poorly about the other can lead children to internalize negative beliefs about themselves or their worth, especially if they identify the criticized parents. Listen up. I am saying it, and I'm saying it with my full chest. If a relationship is not working out, what you put in front of that child is what that child will take outside that door. You disrespect your child's mother or father, it is like disrespecting your child. You disrespect each other, you are disrespecting your child. Now, look, um, impact does it come with having a parent. Degrading one another can escalate tensions and lead to a more hostile environment, making it difficult to reach agreements regarding custody and co-parenting. And you see this a lot. I tell you, in Hollywood, those with the most money, some of them have the messiest divorce. It is so hateful. And you see that there are children involved, and all you can do is just sit there and say to yourself, like, wow, if you don't learn a lesson from this, or how can you be married to someone and then you sit there and berate them that way because you're angry? Like, what did you do? You know, it's like I said, it's easier to point your finger at someone else. Oh, they did this and they did that. But no, but what role did you play? Because if it took two people to say I do, then it takes two people to change. What changed? What changed? And the sadder part about it is what changed is the circumstances in this world. Mhm. Yeah. If you don't have Christ in your marriage, and that marriage is not built on a solid foundation, anything can shake it. Anything can shake it. Yeah. So poor co-parenting. A lack of respect can lead to poor co-parenting dynamics, making it harder to work together for the benefit of the children. This can create a cycle of negativity that further affects the children. Now let's go to the legal consequences of it. Now, in extreme cases, a parent's behavior can be seen as damaging to the emotional well-being of their child, and this can have an impact on custody arrangements and legal decisions, and it really can. And that's why sometimes you just hear, "Oh, the parent lost custody for violating the court order." But let me tell you something, and a child is confused because it's like, okay, if my mom's going to jail, that child is hurt, don't know how to react. And the sad part about it is we would have paused it on ourselves. So everything you do, the backlash, the side effect, it's on that child. The toll is on that child. But then we all just go on like, oh no, they'll get over it. No, you need to get over it. You need to get over it. And to me, No, people is going through a change in the relationship, even if you're not in the marriage. You need to seek counseling because if you know that you did all that you can do to hold on to someone that, first of all, probably wasn't even into you, and a lot of times we bump into sheep in wolves' clothes, and everybody just looking for a place to lay their heads. Everybody's just looking for someone, to feed them and to clothe them and put money in their pockets, get them a nice car. But love never entered into that relationship from the beginning. Why are you marrying him? He was going or she was going upside your head. She's always been a liar and a cheater. So why would you be going after someone that opened their legs like 7-Eleven? And then you wonder why, you know, uh, I gave her everything because sometimes we out here buying love. Just stay with me and I'll get you a car. Just stay with me and I'll do this. Just stay with me and I'll do that. Never once did you say, love me for me. And then, in the long run, you get some of these money hungry, slick talking, grubby females. Sometimes females can be very nasty. We as women can be very vindictive. And we sit there and we start pushing out these children doing money traps. Oh, yeah, doing money traps. So when the man just walk away, you really don't care because you didn't know him anyway. Well, you know what? You're going to pay me child support. You're going to pay me child support, and I would never have to work again. At least not until this child is, 18 to 21 years old. So a lot of us, we need to really explore what is love. What is the meaning of love? Are we capable of love? But as I said in one of my earlier readings, if you come from a there was a lot of physical, emotional, sexual abuse before you push out any child. You need to get counseling to make sure that you are capable of loving someone, that you are healed of your past trauma so that you do not pass that trauma on to someone else. But if you've been physically abused, verbally abused, sexually abused, and you looking for someone just to say love you, and you push a child out, and you never got counseling, you never, really took those steps needed to heal within, you have no business having children because now you're passing that generational curse down. Truly, you are. If you come from a household where there was nothing but fighting and bickering and everybody was either high or drunk, before you go into a relationship, make sure that you're okay. Make sure that you're okay. Because a lot of times we go with what we know. We go with what we know. And let me just say this. Wow, because I'm going to make this a two-part. The reason why I say this is that we look at a lot, everybody has social media. And you look at some of the news that's going on, especially this recent news. And, I was saying to myself, like, why would a young girl want to get with an older gentleman, or older, just say an older person, and put up with that type of abuse? Because somewhere along the line, whether it was the beginning or throughout her childhood, you had to be broken. Why would you want to please a person that wants to share your body with someone else? That's not right. That's not love. That's not even a clue. But if this is all you know, then this is what you will go for. This is what you will go for. And that is why it is so important to be careful of the environment that we are raising our children in. Because when they leave out our door, they will take the madness with them. They will take that madness with them. Let me tell you something. If a man is disrespecting you, you have to watch trauma. And this goes to the women as well. Because some women, that man can be as kind and loving and sweet. And they are so evil, they are so broken that they will walk back and forth. What they say, put all the wheels on them, throw that tractor right over them, front and back, until they are broken. And this is the reason why I say, if you have been in unhealthy relationships, instead of running into the next unhealthy relationship, get yourself some counseling, get yourself some help, take the time out to heal, and stop all this. I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be alone. You're going to end up alone anyway. As a matter of fact, you're not even alone. You got two black eyes. You're not alone because you have a doctor's bill. And then you drag these poor innocent children from relationship to relationship to relationship to relationship. All that child knows is that morning, noon, and night they hear screaming and arguing, police at the door, ambulance at the door, and here you are, two black eyes, me be man or woman, saying, "Oh, it's gonna be okay, it's gonna be okay, it's gonna be okay." And so when someone outside their door say something to your child and your child don't like it, so what do? The same exact thing that they heard, seen, learned, toxic. So when you're in that toxic relationship, you are bearing toxic children. And then suddenly the law is knocking at your door saying, give me that child. And then they do. They take your child and they put them in a worse situation. But sometimes that child needs saving for you. Again, if you're in an unhealthy relationship and you have gone through childhood traumas before you decide to have a child, get yourself some help. Get yourself some help. Because no child should bear the brunt of your pain. And that's just real talk. No child should see it. Because those are the same ones that's running crazy out there looting stores and carjacking and want to rob banks. And the sad part about it is those get the great ones that come back and unlock. And we sit there and saying, why would someone do that to their parents? Because they never got the help. Because you probably come from a generation where everything is swept under the rug. Don't go outside and discuss anything. And then you come with that generational curse and then you hand it down to the child. And the world has changed. The world has changed. And then here your child is in these streets trying to survive. Because you know what we need to do? We need to pray for our children to the point that they're no longer under the age of 12 and unbinding themselves. Unbinding themselves. And this is the reason why the Lord has not taken this here reading, this here message about his children away from me yet. is need to be praying even harder. We need to show our children how to pray so they would know the time that they are feeling those walls closing in. They would know how to pray. Like their belief that God's going to deliver them from the situation should be so high, not, you know, have these children, and this one here, the 11-year-old, it was not so much of the children, it was the teacher calling that child out of his name and making him seem like he's the worst one in the class by using words that matter. Let me tell you something. You look at a child and tell a child that that child is stupid, and that child hears it enough, and that child's peers is laughing and doing everything to make that child feel that much smaller than you yourself. You do not belong in anything that's educational. You don't. You're not a teacher, you're a bully. So we have to continue to pray and be there for our children. We have to continue to be that village. We have to help one another. We have to be there for one another. We have to pray for one another. We have to be able to remove ourselves away from the negativity that comes in this world today. Because, like I said, everyone is afraid. You don't know whether you're going to have a home, a job. You just don't know. And if you cannot figure it out as a parent, what makes you think that a child can figure it out? They can't figure it out on their own. They're looking for you to take the lead. And if you all in your feelings because someone said, I'm walking out the door, take two people, you have to both want it. You have to both want it. One can't just look and say, I want this, I want that. No. Has this here person that's here, let's say, I would say, said her husband wanted to leave, but then he stayed. He had to want to stay. He had to want to stay. But then there are times where that person is better down the road. Go. Let's work out a plan with our children, and then you can go your own way because the stress, and especially if there is physical abuse, mental abuse. You're not a movie. I can do bad all by myself. No, I can do bad all by myself. But I am going to stop here, and then tomorrow, where we need to start. We will start because I'm going to take my time here. Like I said, I have a lot of notes, and this is something that is very, very important. And the Holy Spirit is really putting on me to not rush through this because someone and everyone needs to hear that our actions have on our children out here disrespecting people, that's out here looting these stores, that's out here carjacking, out here in these gangs, looking for love in the streets. We as parents must stand up and hold ourselves accountable for our children's actions. And it starts by as much as no one will not go, I'm not paying for the counseling. Hell, if you have insurance, get counseling. If you don't, if you have to come out your pocket, you can come out your pocket for a lady's bag. You can come out your pocket for a nice car. So you can't come out your pocket to get your child some counseling or get yourself some counseling. Anyways, I thank you all for joining me. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel, like and share. And for those who would like to support the channel, you can do so with stars on To the Point on Facebook, and He First Loved Us on Facebook. or you can do super things on YouTube, or use the Buy Me a Coffee app, which I never pinned because I forget. But I mean, one day I will remember. But thank you all. I will see you all for part two for the impact of divorce on the children and what every parent should know. Thank you all for joining me. I will see you soon for the next reading. Enjoy the rest of